let's discuss the Cody Rhodes situation, the whatever you want to call it. Let's talk about Cody Rhodes' world title reign. So, over the last few weeks, since he won the title, really, Cody has had so much criticism over social media, comment sections of YouTube videos, whatever. And I think it's genuinely ridiculous how much sort of criticism he's getting from some people. And this video might be a little bit messy. I've not planned anything for this video. This is just going to be my raw, unedited thoughts on everything. So there's been a few points of contention about Cody's title reign. One of the things I want to clear up straight away, which is genuinely ridiculous, is the fact that some people actually have an issue with how he physically holds the championship. So he, I'm sure I'll put a picture here anyway, but the way he holds it sort of across him, not like tied around or over the shoulder. That's people don't realise, and it baffles me that people don't realise it. That is the traditional way of holding the championship. Cody is a student of the game. Obviously, his father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, goes way back, 70s, 80s, 90s. Look at pictures of people who Cody would have grown up around, because he grew up around the business, obviously. People like Ric Flair. Look how Ric Flair held the world title. He holds it in the same way that Cody Rhodes does, because that is the traditional sort of way of holding the title. And that's what Cody Rhodes is about. He's a traditional wrestler. He's a student of the game, as I said. So just getting that one out of the way, the fact that people, no matter how he holds the title, the fact that people actually take such issue with a way that a man holds a wrestling title is genuinely ridiculous. If you're that concerned about that, then I don't know what to say for you. But then let's actually talk about the issues with his title reign itself, or the potential issues. So Cody Rhodes he's in the poison chalice position, if you will. He's the man who is taking over the mantle from Roman Reigns. Now, Roman's title reign is undoubtedly one of the best in WWE history. Some of his matches may have gotten a bit stale, a bit sameish with constant bloodline interference, but I think we can all agree Roman's title reign was amazing. He made the title feel like the most important thing in the world. And obviously, Cody coming in, being the one to then have to take that title and then carry on the momentum that Roman built, it was always going to be the most difficult job. If I could use a football analogy that hopefully people understand, it's like David Moyes going into Manchester United after Sir Alex Ferguson retired. It's that level of dynasty that Cody is trying to replace and put his own mark on and improve. So the main issue now that he's won the title, that's one thing. What's next? And I think WWE have done, unfortunately for Cody, and it's not his fault, but they've done a really bad job in figuring out what is next. Now, Cody's whole purpose of being in WWE from the moment he returned at WrestleMania 38 in a match against Seth Rollins, the promo he cut the very next night on Raw, he spoke about finishing the story. That was Cody's whole reason for being back in the WWE. He wanted that title that his father, it was snatched out of his hands. He's done that now. The story is finished. So what does he have now to, what's his purpose? Where does he go? And as I say, WWE haven't helped him, because his first two promos, he cut pretty much identical promos on Raw and SmackDown straight after WrestleMania 40. And They were nothing promos really. They were sort of, you know, you can do it on the Raw, that's fine. It's his sort of statement of intent being, I'm Cody Rhodes, I am the undisputed champion and I'm here, whatever. That's fine. But then the promos just didn't move him on, and they needed to move him on because he can't bask in the shadow of Roman's title reign. He needs to break out of that shadow, move forward and move into his own title reign, the Cody Rhodes title reign, not the person who dethroned Roman Reigns' title reign. So the other problem is that Cody's now on SmackDown. On the other side, Damian Priest won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania on Raw. He's on Raw, sorry. And he's got loads of elements that they're working with at the moment. He's been feuding with Jey Uso. He's been working he's just started a program with Drew McIntyre. There's been elements of him, you know, taking control of the Judgment Day. So there's sort of dissension with Finn Balor. Carlito's come in, and, you know, Damian is very clearly the main man in the group. So there's so many things that they're working with Damian Priest, little seeds they're planting for the future of Damian Priest's title reign. And they just haven't done that with Cody Rhodes. So in that sense, I understand people's frustrations with Cody's title reign so far. It was never going to be immediately as amazing, because people will look back on Roman's reign as amazing. For me, in my lifetime at least, the Bloodline story with Sami Zayn, the Usos, all of it, the Bloodline story is, for my money, the best wrestling storyline I've ever witnessed in my lifetime, in my 20 plus years of life. So to replace that is nigh on impossible. So the fire was always gonna sort of burn a bit low immediately, because people will just be looking back on Roman's title reign and reminiscing about how good it was. And especially with, you know, the stuff with Seth Rollins and The Rock, it ended so amazingly. And that main event at WrestleMania 40, both nights, night one, the tag match, and the title match on night two, both nights were incredible. So where does he go? How does he not sort of live in Roman's shadow? And that's where they need to do better in building up more elements, because, and we saw it straight away in the first feud he went into was with AJ Styles, who won the number one contenders tournament. And at the contract signing for their match, AJ Styles started talking about Dusty Rhodes again. And I understand Dusty Rhodes is a emotional draw for Cody Rhodes. There is history with AJ Styles, so I can appreciate it slightly in this scenario. But moving forward, in every feud Cody has, whether it's, you know, Logan Paul, who we're going to talk about in a minute, LA Knight, whoever may come down the line for Cody to feud with, they have to stop talking about Dusty Rhodes, because you keep banging on that same drum and eventually it's going to wear itself out and people just won't care about the emotional weight it holds. So, as I said, with AJ it made sense because there was history between AJ and Dusty. But going forward, please leave Dusty out of it. I appreciate the emotional weight, I really do, but just leave him out of it. He doesn't need to be, you know, used as a centerpiece in every storyline, or used as a piece to get cheap heat on the heel that Cody is feuding with. He just doesn't. And speaking of AJ Styles, people sort of complained immediately about Cody's title reign. All of these complaints came before he had even defended the title that he had just won. And, you know, you have to give a champion a chance to work. Cody and Roman are, and I'm sorry I keep making comparisons between Cody and Roman, but obviously it's easy because that's the reign that's just happened. Cody and Roman are completely different performers. Not in the sense that Roman is a bad wrestler, a bad worker, because he's not at all. He's a very good wrestler. He's proven that over 10 plus years in the WWE now. But Roman has throughout his title reign, he was about the cinema aspect. He was about the emotional storytelling, the emotional weight of matches. You know, all of the matches with Jey Uso, with Sami Zayn, all of them were so heavily built around emotion and less about wrestling. And Cody Rhodes is, as I mentioned earlier, he is a wrestler through everything. He is a professional wrestler, and that's what he does. And his matches will probably focus more on that. They'll feel different to Roman's matches because they'll be faster paced. There'll be less sort of emotional stalling where we're sort of watching just things happen that aren't wrestling. And his match with AJ Styles, his first title defense, was amazing. And people haven't given him a chance to even have that title reign, and they're criticizing him. And in his very first title reign, he put on a phenomenal match with AJ Styles at Backlash in France. You know, Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer star ratings mean absolutely nothing. But, you know, it shows he doesn't give WWE matches 5 stars often. That match got 5 stars from Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer. So that match was genuinely amazing, a phenomenal match, helped in part by that Backlash crowd, as every match on that card was. But nonetheless, the work those two did together, as you would expect from two veterans, two very, very good wrestlers, it was a very, very, very good, and I can't stress very enough, it was just an amazing wrestling match. And then we move on to his next challenger, fresh off of that, and he's put into a feud with Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul is controversial for his entire being in WWE. Some people don't like it. I love it, if I'm being honest with you. He's proven in the... How long has he even been now? 3 years maybe? He's sort of been involved with everything. He's proven he is a outrageously good wrestler, far better than he has absolutely any right to be. He's a natural, dislikable heel. He just works so well in the fabric of the WWE. He just fits in seamlessly. If people didn't know who he is and his past and all the controversies he's had in the past, people would genuinely, I think, just look at him as a phenomenal wrestler and a good wrestling heel. But, so the pay-per-view coming up, King and Queen of the Ring, in Saudi Arabia, which is probably why we've got a Logan Paul match, because obviously he's a huge megastar. Huge eyes will be on that match, and thus on Cody Rhodes. First of all, WWE have made a right pig's ear of all of it, because they haven't been clear, is the match for both the championships, the undisputed WWE Championship and Logan Paul's United States Championship? Is it for both? Is it a title unification match? Like, they've not been clear at all. So, first of all, that immediately creates issues in that wrestling is at its best when the stories are clear, we know what is happening, what the stakes involved are, and where we're going. We don't know that with this match at the moment. And sure, we've got, you know, I'm recording this on Thursday the 16th. We've got over a week until King of the Ring. We've got SmackDown tomorrow night where this could all be cleared up, and then this whole rant I'm talking about here goes completely out the window. But, you know, I completely lost my train of thought there. But yeah, so everything could be cleared up in the 2 SmackDowns coming up, and then before we get to King of the Ring, this is all completely cleared up. It's completely fine. But then we pose the issue of, if the match is for both the United States and the Undisputed Championship, how does it end? Because does Cody taking the United States Championship help him? I don't know. Does it make his reign feel more important? I don't know. Unifying the belts, I think, would be a mistake. I think there is so much talent on the active WWE roster that having 2 mid-card titles, or 1 on each show, Raw and SmackDown, is a necessity purely because of how much talent there is. Take LA Knight, for example, I mentioned earlier. At the moment, he is on SmackDown. He's probably not going to be working with to be the one to take the world title from Cody Rhodes, but he is such a star that he deserves to be fighting for championships, and that is where the mid-card title shines. But so in that sense, Cody unifying the titles won't help. Now, if he takes both titles, doesn't unify them and carries them as separate championships, then where does that leave him? Because then we go back to the case of him not having continuity, because we don't know, so he'll defend the belts separately, I guess. But then does that mean, his feuds won't carry as much weight because he'll be sort of running 2 feuds at once, which won't help him at all, because, as I say, his feuds need to be clear and concise, and we need to elevate him and make him the centre of attention, the star like Roman was. Speaking of Roman, and the final point I'll make, because I feel like I may just be going round in circles a bit here. The plan, seemingly, is for The Rock, when he's done with his movies, he's filming a MMA movie at the moment, I don't know what other ones he's got down the line. The plan, seemingly, as I've read online, is to run Cody versus The Rock potentially at next year's WrestleMania 41. So that immediately causes slight issues, because that means, the next WrestleMania is a year away, or 11 months. So that means for 11 months, we're just going to be waiting for the moment when The Rock comes back, and then it will feel like Cody's reign can really kickstart and get going, because that's the feud that we're waiting for. Or alternatively, when Roman comes back, I'm not sure when that is, I'm sure he's going to take a lot of time off. But again, we can't run that at next year's WrestleMania, because we've done that 2 years in a row. So I'm sure the match could be The Rock versus Cody, but that means we're sort of just plodding our way through the next year waiting for that. And I'm sure Cody can put on some great matches in that time, but unless there's jeopardy in a title match, it's pointless. If you know who is going to win every single match, then the match has no point. The fans get invested in matches when they're unpredictable, false finishes, when there is high stakes. And if Cody is going into feuds where we know he's going to win and there's no real stakes, it's just going to be so much harder for people to get fully invested into his title reign and to actually care like they cared about Roman. And yeah, I'm sorry I've compared so much to Roman, but it's the obvious comparison. His reign was phenomenal. It was 4 years long, near enough. So Cody is in an impossible position. I don't envy him at all, but WWE need to do better to help him, because he's got the tools. He's a great talker. He's a great wrestler. Why am I giving Cody Rhodes the stamp of approval? But he can talk amazingly. He can wrestle his arse off. He just needs to be given the feuds and the stakes that he can work with that justify title matches and emphasize his position as the man, the main person, the face of the company. And they just haven't been doing that yet. Hopefully they will. Regardless, I'm sure the match with Logan Paul will be amazing. I have absolutely no doubts about that. But we just need that cleared up, the actual stakes of that match, and I'm sure they will be. But once that's cleared up and that match is out the way, because let's be honest, it's a Saudi Arabia match. They will have probably asked for a Logan Paul match, so they're throwing him into the world title match. But going forward, we need better feuds, better matches, less mention of Dusty Rhodes. People to stop caring how Cody holds his belt physically in his hands, because grow up, who cares how a man holds a belt? It's the traditional way, it looks fine. Anyway, we've done that rant already. And yeah, we just need more layers to the story of Cody Rhodes, because the story has been finished. So now let's close that book and let's start writing a new one. Anyway, that is my thoughts, my rant pretty much about people's criticism and the current state of Cody Rhodes' undisputed WWE Championship reign. Do you agree with everything I've said? Please let me know. Do you disagree? Please let me know. Please like the video, subscribe for more weekly wrestling content. I will not break that promise. Weekly wrestling content. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you later.